What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so before I get into this video, I just want to remind those of you who did not see the videos from yesterday. I have a new Rumble account, and I created the Rumble account primarily because over in Rumble, which is an alternative to YouTube, they have a lot more leeway into as far as what you can talk about and what you can say. You don't have to always speak in Morse code like you do over here, you know. So just want you guys to know that that's the link to the Rumble on the thumbnail. I'd like to thank the new people that have signed up. It's about, last time I checked, 86 people. So thank you all. And it's free. There's no fee. You know, I know some people don't want to pay for certain things. You know what I mean? So it's free. So it's not like the Patreon where there's a $2 fee. But anyway, and I take requests. I always take requests when it comes to videos. I'm always looking for new things to talk about. So, look, what's one of the things I've always said when it comes to this GOAT thing, right? I said that there's been a persistent and a constant narrative over the past 20 years to push players of the past out of the GOAT conversation. Now, some of this is generational, right? Some of it's generational, and we can understand that, right? Which is why I think it's important to know your history. Because a lot of these people that talk sports today do not know the history of sports or the history of the game. They really don't. And it's sad. It's sad. And they're proud of their ignorance. They embrace their ignorance. But a lot of this is also unfortunate and purposeful. It's on purpose because they don't respect the center position. People today seem to have this feeling that the center position, oh, if you're that close to the rim, you should score. Ball handling the skills, learning how to rebound, box out, you know, post up, footwork in the post. They think these things aren't really skills. They don't respect it. And at the end of the day, they're like, well, if you're that big, you should score anyway. And I think that's what's happened to a guy like Wilt Chamberlain. Because he used to be in the GOAT conversation. And this article I'm going to put a link to in the pinned comment proves that I'm correct. Back in 2003, Slam Magazine had a top 75 list. And number one on that list was Michael Jordan. But number two on that list was none other than Wilton Norman Chamberlain. So how does a guy that has consistently been seen as either the GOAT or number two fall so dramatically as Wilt Chamberlain has? Well, like I said, they had to get rid of him because they had to create narratives, because Wilt's records, Wilt's stats, Wilt's dominance, a guy that the NBA and basketball had to create rules to stop him from being even more dominant than he was. They had to create narratives that people bought and believed over time to gradually diminish this man to the point where not that he was no longer just top 5 anymore, but he's not even top 10. I've even seen some people say that Wilt isn't even top 15 anymore. It brings tears to my eyes, literally, because I take the history of the game. I take this shit seriously. The fact that they're that ignorant proves everything that I've been saying is correct about the modern fan today. 20 years ago, Michael Jordan was number 1. Wilt Chamberlain was number 2. Oscar Robertson was number 3. That's another casualty of that era. The 60s. He's not even in most people's top 15 anymore. Bill Russell's number 4. Now, I have my issues with Bill Russell. I don't think he's the 4th greatest basketball player. But generally speaking, Bill was in most people's top 10. I think he stays in people's top 10 because of the fact that he has 11 championships. But they try to say, well, there was only so many rounds, though. Or there's only so many teams. And things that were completely out of Bill Russell's control. You know what I mean? Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Look at Kareem. Kareem's number 7. Now, I ask you this. He was an all-time leading scorer then, right? So if he was an all-time leading scorer, why is he so low? But people will use that for LeBron to justify why he should be number 1. But look, he was an all-time leading scorer. And it wasn't even close at that time. I think the only guy that was approaching him was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Was Karl Malone at that time. And let's see what Karl Malone was ranked at that time. 13th. So why was Kareem 7th when he was the all-time leading scorer? So longevity means something, but it's not the be-all, end-all. Jerry West was number 8. Shaquille O'Neal number 9. Julius Erving number 10. And that's, I think, Julius Erving without the ABA accolades. Julius Erving was number 10. Elgin Baylor, Akeem Olajuwon, Karl Malone, Bob Pettit, 14th. These are all people that I hold in high regard. John Havlicek, Moses Malone. Isaiah Thomas was 17th. John Stockton, 18th. Barkley, 19th. Walt Clyde Frazier, 20th. You'll have some people that don't even have Clyde Frazier in their top 50. Rick Barry, Bob Cousy, 22nd. Elvin Hayes, Dave Cowens. Dave Cowens may not even be in some people's top 65. They may not even know who the hell he is. Kevin McHale, number 26. Dominique, Pat Ewing. I'm not going to say everybody. But yeah, that has been, look, I get it. There's been a generation of players that you have to analyze. And I can understand LeBron James being top 5. I can understand Kevin Durant being in the top 10. You know, I can understand some of these guys breaking into these lists. But Kyrie Irving should never be in anybody's top 30. He hasn't done enough. Oh, he's a tremendous ball handler. Well, so is fucking goddamn white chocolate. That don't mean he should be a top 5 point guard. But my overall point is, I'm not off base when I said that Wilt Chamberlain was in the GOAT conversation. Before 1990, I would say Wilt was pretty much seen as the GOAT. So look, let me make a better point. A better point I want to try to make here. Wilt Chamberlain 2 championships. Oscar Robertson 1. Right? But they're seen as the 2nd and 3rd greatest players of all time. Jerry West 8th. But he has 1. Shaq has 4. Right? Julius Erving only has 1 NBA championship because I suspect they're not including the ABA. I'm not sure if they include the ABA or not. I can't remember whether they include the ABA or not. It's hard to say. But anyway, why is it that this list has a guy, Jerry West, with a 1-8 finals record ahead of a guy with 4 championships? Because the people who were doing these lists more than likely had a great overall knowledge of history. They said, yeah, Jerry West was 1-8 in the finals. But look at the players that Jerry West played with throughout most of his prime versus the players that already at that time Shaq had been blessed to play with. By that point in 2003, most of them remember the greatness of Penny Hardaway before the injuries. He played with the best prolific three-point shooter in the game with Dennis Scott. He played with a great slashing spot-up shooter, 20-point per game scorer in Nick Anderson before the free throws debacle where he just completely lost a dog in him. Then he played with Kobe Bryant, who in 2003, as this list was being compiled, was probably on a 9-game, 40-point per game scoring blitz. Not to mention the Rick Foxes and the Robert Ory's and all the other great players he got to play with, and subsequently afterward. So yeah, anyway, just want to put this out there to prove that at one point in time, Wilt Chamberlain was a serious GOAT candidate, and he still should be. But when you put out there, he didn't play against anybody. All he played against was 6'4" midgets, and a guy that big should win, and his competition sucked, and he couldn't win, and Bill Russell just shut him down. All these lies. If you tell a lie enough, it'll become truth to fools.